This popular Colorado restaurant lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in business. It shut down for months because a man from Florida sued, claiming the restaurant discriminated against him and other people with disabilities. Well, now the restaurant owner just got even. Denver 7 investigator Ryan Luby is back, and the owner's attorney says many of the allegations, they were just bogus.
And good evening. The restaurant owner said the people who sued him told him he could make the whole case go away if he paid them $15,000. Well, instead, he got an attorney involved who agreed to fight for free and got the case dismissed at no cost. And just recently, they say they collected some of the best evidence yet that the motive behind these types of cases is not accessibility. If you didn't know any better, you'd think the Riverbend restaurant in Bailey, Colorado was on a crusade to discriminate against people with disabilities, and that it took months to make it more accessible. But that is just not so.
It took 2 hours.
2 hours?
Correct.
And how much did it cost?
It was under $250 if I'm remembering correctly.
Michael Abendanza doesn't exactly spend a lot of time in his restaurant's restroom, but this was ground zero for the technical issues he said he easily would have fixed if a person with disabilities had bothered to strike up a conversation with him instead of filing litigation over things like the toilet paper dispenser, which was off by a few inches, like the urinal, which was a few inches too high.
In the middle of all this, you've had to shut your business down. You've had to get an attorney.
Correct.
Thankfully, she's doing it pro bono.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. But you had to go through all this heartache and headache and time over some of the simplest repairs somebody could make and you could have done yourself.
Absolutely. All they had to do was let me know.
To me, it just sounded like extortion. It smelled like extortion, everything I had heard. That's just what it was.
This is Abendanza's attorney, Courtenay Patterson. She hired an ADA expert who determined that more than half of the 14 specific allegations against the restaurant were not ADA violations at all. She has a real problem with some of the people who file these types of lawsuits, including the people who sued Abendanza, a guy named Santiago Abreu and his attorney, both of whom live in Florida.
They do not care if a restaurant comes into compliance. They say that they care, but they do not care if they come into compliance.
Patterson says this because of how abruptly they dropped the case. Just days before she was scheduled to do a deposition with Santiago Abreu here in Colorado, she says his attorney called and offered to dismiss the case altogether, never bothering to confirm if the restaurant did anything to address the allegations.
He didn't ask for proof. He didn't ask for photographs. He didn't ask for an affidavit. Nothing.
That's why she and Abendanza questioned the motives, believing that Abreu simply did not want to put forth the effort to fight the battle that he and his own attorney started.
All they had to do was say, Mike, we've got a couple of issues here.
Right.
But that's not what it was about. It wasn't about accessibility, because the accessibility is clearly here. This was just, in my mind, a money grab.
Nevertheless, people in Bailey just want the restaurant to come back to life.
Are you guys going to reopen? Or? It was really good.
That would be from your mouth to God's ears.
They want the 30 people who worked here to get their jobs back, and if all goes well, they will. But for now, they still have to deal with the fallout from the drive-by legal bomb that hit this place and nearly took it out for good. Ryan Luby, Denver 7 Investigates.
And Santiago Abreu's attorney called us back tonight saying he dismissed the case and says he has faith that the restaurant made corrections with or without proof. And he went on to say the goal of these cases is accessibility. As you know, Ryan has helped expose hundreds of these cases across the southwestern U.S. And now lawmakers across the country are paying attention again.
The people that are losing are the disabled. And the people that are winning off of these are attorneys.
We spoke with Representative Ted Poe from Houston, Texas. Poe recently reintroduced legislation in Congress that would create a grace period for businesses. Before someone could drag them to court, they'd have 60 days to respond to a demand letter and then 120 days to act. As it is right now, people can file ADA lawsuits against businesses without ever even talking to business owners.
If the goal is to fix the problem, then the businesses should have time to fix the problem, rather than using a lawyer to come in and sue the business, and the business may or may not even know what the problem is, to get a settlement that is split with the plaintiffs and split with the lawyers.
Well, the bill already has bipartisan support from lawmakers in California to Louisiana.